or they're visiting back home countries, then they used to put their belonging in one safe box and they used to leave it with someone they trust. And so on. Why at that time I didn't ask others to join me? I could have easily asked others to help me out. But I didn't. Why? Because of the fear of the responsibility of managing zakat of others. But subhanallah, after Haiti earthquake, when we delivered projects in Haiti, then people started to trust Al-Khair, mashallah, they started to donate a lot and so on. And to the extent that mashallah, Al-Khair Foundation became a global name. In case of Gaza, if I claim that even now, even today, even this week, our aid is going into Gaza, then that is a huge, huge claim. And I'm a person of media. I own 3 TV channels. I have basically projects and offices in many countries around the world, projects in 80 plus countries. So I have to be very careful in what I say. I cannot just make a statement or claim something in which there is 1% doubt of not being accurate. But the bigger question is, why Al-Khair? How come Al-Khair Foundation aid going into Gaza while other organizations' aid is stuck? Sorry. So, how come our aid is basically going over there while others' aid is stuck? And the answer to that is that 7th of October happened 2 years ago, yes? It's nearly 2 years now. Next week it will be 2 years. 7th of October happened. Is only after 7th of October people started to hear about Rafah crossing. Did you hear Rafah crossing before that? Right? Some of you may have heard, but majority of the people, they heard first time about aid convoys going into Gaza, about Rafah crossing and so on. But do you know Al-Khair Foundation's aid going into Gaza since 2009-10? At that time, from 2009-10 to 2016, it was occasional. Couple of times in a month, now and then. But from 2016 up to 7th of October, it was going on daily basis almost every day. Almost every day means at least 4 to 5 days a week. Al-Khair aid was going into Gaza from 2016. In 2016, we started construction of Al-Khair Hospital in Khan Yunus. And this hospital was massive hospital, similar to this building, 5-6 story building, mainly focusing on maternity, but had all other departments. The hospital was the only hospital that had central oxygen supply. You heard of Tesla cars now, that Tesla car. Can everyone hear me properly, or is it too loud? Can everybody hear me properly? Okay, alhamdulillah. It seems I'm shouting, but trust me, I'm not shouting. I'm speaking slowly still. The mic here is, mashallah, very, very powerful. This should be called Mujahid mic. Mic Mujahid, mashallah. So, in 2016, we started the construction work of hospital. And for that, we started to send aid in construction material. My promise to all the governments, external governments, including America, Israel, Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, and so on, was that everything, every single item for this hospital will be channeled through borders. We will not smuggle anything. We will bring everything from outside, and ideally from Israel, via Israel. So Israel knows exactly what's coming. So we use mostly Israeli borders. So they know what coming in. Second assurance I gave them that every single penny is spent on construction of this hospital will come through bank transfers. Not a single penny. I mean, it's multi-million-dollar project, but not a single penny we will send through other money transfer methods. Everything will be through bank transfer, even if it costs us more. And we stick to those 2 points. And one thing I demanded from Israel as a result of this, that they do not bomb the hospital. Because normally that's what they do. But for Al-Khair hospital, they do not bomb the hospital. I should have asked them, rather than not bombing, do not attack the hospital or do not enter the hospital. But anyway, subhanAllah, up to now that hospital building is there. Although they entered inside and they destroyed the machinery inside and so on, but they didn't bomb the hospital, not a single bomb, not a single blast. They broke some of the bricks or they made a hole in the wall or like that, but otherwise they were using as their command center. So to manage this hospital, and then we took responsibility of over 7,000 orphans in Gaza. To manage those orphans, over 10,000 students receiving education through Al-Khair educational program. Nearly 1 million people in Gaza were receiving water supplies through Al-Khair projects without having our logo or our sign anywhere. So just imagine how extensive our water project was. For that, we had to send aid and stuff and material into Gaza almost every day. Because of that situation and because of that track record, I believe that Alhamdulillah, even now, Al-Khair aid supply goes in without any challenges and issues as such. Of course, we would like to send 1,000 lorries. If we want to send 1,000 lorries, we get permission not for 100, but only 10 or 5. We want to send a lot more, but it's still, alhamdulillah, some lorries going in. Even today, towards the end of this week, basically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in last 3 days, you will be surprised that our tents full of lorries entered Gaza. These are the tents with metal pole. Israel does not allow anything with metal going inside Gaza. But our lorries, our consignment with metal poles were allowed in, mashallah. So it's not because we are in good books of Israel or we are friends with them or we have some dealing or arrangement with them. No, it's because of the track record. Since 2016 up to now, not a single lorry, not a single pallet, not even a single box of our supply has ever been rejected for it to contain something else other than was on the list. Did you understand this point? That not even one single box of our supply since 2016 up to now has ever been rejected. Isn't it this great track record? So let's say if someone is in wholesale business, let's call it Coca-Cola, for example. Al-Iyazu Billah, but I have to give this example. No matter wherever you go, you will find Coca-Cola everywhere, isn't it? Even if you go to basically, what's the name of the refugee camp? Dadaab refugee camp. You go to Balimatan area, you go to remote areas of Hargeisa or Tanariva, you go to remote island of Lamu, still you will find Coca-Cola everywhere. If I start Qibla Cola or Makkah Cola or Islamic Cola or Gaza Cola today, can I have same reach as Coca-Cola? No. It will take me maybe 50 years, 100 years to reach that level. So that's the level of Al-Khair at the moment. And subhanAllah, in early days, after 7th of October, we were saying that, look, our aid is going in. Even on 7th of October, on that day, our aid entered Gaza. Even on 8th of October, on 9th of October, on 10th of October, our aid entered Gaza, and after that, border was shut down. Border was closed few days after 7th of October, not immediately. Now, the lorries that were there on 7th of October didn't left Cairo or basically warehouses on 7th itself. They left before. So that means our supply was in line, in pipeline from long before that. And mashallah, at that time, whenever our lorry or our aid was going in, I was claiming that our aid going in, mashallah. After a few days, they opened the border again after 2 weeks. And our aid went in. And I said that our lorries are going in. Now in UK, those who know me from UK basically, they know that Alhamdulillah in UK, the name Imam Qasim, Alhamdulillah, is well respected and well trusted name. If someone give me $1 million and I tell that person that your project is done, is delivered, of course, he will get a report, he or she. But my word to them that your project is delivered, that's 100% assurance and guarantee. They don't need to see any document. That's the level of trust. But for the first time, I feared that when I'm saying that our aid going into Gaza, hardly anyone was believing me. You can imagine what was my inner feeling at that time, that throughout my life, people trusted me, but for the first time, I'm claiming something and people are having doubt about it. Subhanallah, in end of October, at one occasion, Al Jazeera TV, Al Jazeera, everyone knows, news channel, they were doing live broadcast from the border of Rafah, from Rafah crossing, from the border, because they were about to open the border after a few days. And they were showing that border will open now and lorry will start to come. And it was going live everywhere. And I think I was in maybe Indonesia or Malaysia at that time, on the other part of the world. It was middle of night over there, where I was, while it was afternoon in Gaza. And Al Jazeera showing live, first lorry entered, it has big banner, Al-Khair Foundation. Second lorry entered, third, fourth lorries. Initial lorries that entered were Al-Khair Foundation lorries. And those who were watching live, they were surprised that while there are basically thousands, possibly tens of thousands of lorries at the border, United Nations, WFP, UNHCR, Red Crescent, Red Cross, Oxfam, Save the Children, all these lorries are there, but it's still Al-Khair lorry entering. That was the changing moment. That changed the dynamic of Al-Khair. Before that, we had only 5, 6 organizations that were delivering with us. And these were big organizations I'm talking about, like Maldives government and people of Maldives and so on like that. But after that, we received lots of requests to deliver aid into Gaza on behalf of number of organizations from around the world. So we started to receive the request and we said to them, okay, we will give allocations. There are organizations who wants to pledge $5 million, $10 million. We told them that, okay, first you transfer $200,000, not 10 million, not 5 million. Once we are able to deliver this $200,000, then we'll ask you next payment. That's how we work. rather than taking money from everyone in one go, number one. Number two, I say to these organizations that my team is very small. I don't have a big team. And I don't want to hire further manpower to deliver your aid. So it will be our document, it will be our manager, but you are the one who become project manager on behalf of Al-Khair to manage your organization project. Meaning your team have to go to Egypt or Jordan. Your team will be involved in all the purchasing and procurement. They will receive the stuff in the warehouses. They will be involved in packaging or boxing. Of course, there will be team members who will be packaging, but they will oversee. Then they will manage the putting boxes on the pallets, wrapping up of the pallets. They themselves will put their own stickers on every box and every pallet. And then in front of them, all the aid will go into the lorry. They seal the lorry goes to the border. Now, let's say this is massive warehouse. The warehouse we have in these places, warehouses, are such that you can park 40, 50 lorries inside the building. I'm not talking about compound. I'm talking about the size of the warehouse. 20, 30, 50 lorries you can park inside the building. That's how big the warehouses are. So in that warehouse, we have sections. This section is for this organization. That section is for that organization. That section for other organization. You are one organization, you can only film your section. You cannot count other organization stuff as yours. Right? Yes, you can film entire warehouse as basically that this is massive warehouse and this is our stuff. So that's how we worked. From our side, from Al-Khair side, in these countries, there's maybe 2-3 people, that's it. But rest of 50 or 100 people or 200 people are people from other organizations. They pay for their own travel, they pay for their own accommodation, their own transportation. So when we are working with such a high level of transparency that the donor organization becoming the project manager, meaning they know how much we have paid and how much money have been spent on purchasing, on packaging, on transportation, and sending aid in. They are surprised that you have spent 100% of the amount. You are not keeping anything for your admin cost. And we say we don't need for admin cost. Our admin cost is very nominal, very less, because we have only 2, 3, or 5 staff there. So what our admin cost would be. So with that approach, with that openness, with that high level of transparency, the number of organizations that started to work with Al-Khair started to grow in tens, in dozens, in 50s, in hundreds, 200s, and now, mashallah, we deal directly with maybe around 300 organizations, but under each organization, there are a number of organizations. Let me give you one example. Sanabil. Sanabil is one organization in Middle East. Just their Qurbani alone, Udhiya project, was around $5 million through Al-Khair Foundation. Sanabil, one organization only, $5 million. But that $5 million was on behalf of maybe 39 organizations. So while we are dealing with one organization, but there are 39, 40 organizations behind the scene. TDV, Turkish Waqf Ministry. All the masajids and religious places are under Turkish Waqf Ministry. Right? Alhamdulillah, their aid supply into Gaza is through Al-Khair Foundation. But then under TDV, there are many other donors, many other partners. IDDIF, another major organization, you know. So I can name huge list of organizations, mashallah. And we are not relying only on one border or one country. We are sending aid, mashallah, through different countries, even now, through sea route also. I'm not talking about flotilla or like that. I'm talking about proper cargo ships containing 50, 30, 60 containers. That's how our aid going in. I don't want to go into too much detail of it, but we are not relying on one channel. If I want to tell you the credibility of the organization of Al-Khair Foundation, I think this will be the nail on the coffin. How many Muslim organizations in the world you must have heard that they are receiving funding from non-Muslims, mainly Jewish, in Israel? There are people in Israel who are not in favor of this war, who wants to supply aid to Gaza. I'm not talking about Muslim organizations. And I'm not talking about even organizations, even in public. In Israel, people are fundraising for Al-Khair Foundation to those who are against the war. Isn't it huge testimony to the organization? And I'm not talking about small numbers. I'm talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. So it's not a small contribution. Some organizations also delivering through Al-Khair from Israel. So this is huge testimony, mashallah. All this is because of mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walillahi alhamdu wa shukr. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because when you are careful with the amana, inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila ahliha. Right? Who are the ahl? Ila ahliha. Who are capable of delivering it, capable to take burden of that amana, who are able to deliver inside without interruption. So that's how, mashallah, the aid supply is going in. And the aid supply that is going in is well over $100 million, mashallah. More than $100 million worth of aid supply is going in. That is the amount managed by Al-Khair, either UK or Indonesia, Malaysia, Turkey, and so on. So subhanallah, with this approach, with the openness and highest level of transparency, the name of Al-Khair has grown and is gone big, mashallah, to the extent that we had to reject during Qurbani time, in Udhiyya time, we had to reject more than 70% organizations that wanted to work with us. We managed to accommodate only 30% organization. And you know how many Udhiyya was done? How many sacrifices was done by Al-Khair? This year was record-breaking in the world. 218,000 sacrifices. 218,000. You know, just thinking about it is madness. For somebody to slaughter one camel or one bull or one cow is a challenging. We were slaughtering one cow every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds we were slaughtering one cow. We're talking about more than 7 million Qurbani cans. 7 million Qurbani cans. Because the Qurban Udhiyya meat going into Gaza is going as a can. So we did slaughtering in different countries. We brought all the meat, frozen meat, to UAE as a boneless meat. It was processed, it was cooked, and it was placed in can in UAE. So nobody can have doubt that, oh, it was packed in Pakistan, it could have bacteria, or India, it could have this issue or that issue. No, UAE has a strict control. And Israel, you know the relationship between Israel and UAE. So anything that is made in UAE or packed in UAE goes easily into Gaza. That's why we focused on UAE. Alhamdulillah, we were hoping that our udhiyah meat will enter Gaza hopefully by December. Coming December, this year. Udhiyah was in June. So we were giving ourselves 6 months because it's a long process. So within 6 months, our udhiyah meat will start to reach Gaza. But subhanallah, not this month. We are now in September, October. So in month of August, 2 months ago, in month of August was our first consignment reaching Gaza for Qurbani meat, udhiyah meat, in month of August. Then September, and now early October, mashallah. So that's how Al-Khair project has been managed. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless. We have plenty of time, but I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to give opportunity for people to ask any question, no matter how difficult or burning question is. But if you have any question, go ahead, inshallah. I'll be happy to answer. Yes. If you can come a little closer, please.
I know Hafiz Tariq very well, and one of the things that happened was the inquiry that happened about the funds. Hafiz Tariq had to come with the DCI, and so can you tell us exactly, is that a way of trying to prevent us from contributing, or what was the whole driver behind this?
No, you see, Gaza is hot issue, not only in Kenya or non-Muslim countries, but even in Muslim countries. You cannot wear Palestine scarf in Harmain. Right? If you have Al-Khair, Gaza logo or anything in Harmain, they will take you away. Right? You cannot speak openly in many of the Middle East countries. So Gaza is hot issue in many different places. Now, the way I look at it is that all different regulatory bodies and all the agencies have a job to do. They need to do their work. They have to do their checks. It's not against an organization or people or like that. That's what they are paid for. If they don't do that work, then they will be out of position. They will be out of job. So we need to understand from their point of view why they're doing it. Because there is political pressure. There is Israel lobby and so on. So we would face inquiry in many countries. They come, they check all the records and so on. But the moment they come, we know very same moment that they will be more than satisfied by the end of it. Not just satisfied, more than satisfied. Because of the mechanism, the documentation, and the process we have. So if any country facing any, you can say, hurdles from authorities to deliver aid into Gaza is because of the political pressure, but we need to carry on. As long as we are working for sake of humanity, we are not assisting any fighting, we are not basically funding any weapons or anything that could be used to attack anybody. We are purely working on humanitarian ground, then I think it's fine, inshallah. Anyone else? Any other question? Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Now, I understand that you guys have a clean track record and a good reputation, and you've made it clear that you're not friends with Israel.
Can you keep it more close?
You made it clear that you're not friends with Israel or anything, but I'm finding it hard to understand how you guys allow your trucks and lorries enter the border when I know that Israel, they don't want any benefit for Gaza or anything of the sorts. So how is it that you guys are able to get aid and everything in your organization?
Okay. Can you repeat because of the rain noise?
Okay. I was saying that you guys have made it clear that you're not friends with Israel or anything of the sorts, but I'm finding it hard to understand how your aid is able to reach Gaza, because I know for a fact that Israel doesn't want anything like that. They seem to want to destroy Gaza. So when you guys are able to get your aid in, it seems to contradict what Israel is trying to achieve.
Yes, it is true that they're not allowing aid in, and there was big pause after Ramadan, this Ramadan gone especially, and they're not allowing more than 99% of the aid, but they are allowing few lorries to go in. And few lorries I mean by sometime 35, sometime 25, sometime 10, 15, sometime it goes 2 days a week, sometime 5 days a week. So it still is going in. It's not that it's not going in. It still is going in. The thing is that if I start to publicize on social media that our aid is going in, our aid is going in, have a look at this, what's the point? I will jeopardize my own project. They're allowing us to send aid in, let it go, let it benefit people. We just claim within our own circle. So to our donors and on our TV channel in Urdu language or Bengali language, we claim like that. So we receive footage of every single day. How many lorries have entered today and so on, the videos of it and so on. So aid is going in, definitely, either through Jordan or through Israel itself, through West Bank, through some of the European countries. There are certain countries that had good connection with Israel. There are countries where Israel has, for example, arrangement with them that the customs and checking will be done at the port of disembarkment. So all the screening, all the custom and checking will be done before the container goes on the ship. When ship arrives in Israel, it arrives as domestic item, not as international item. And it doesn't go through screening and through customs and like that. With experience, with knowledge, alhamdulillah, we learn these things with time passing by, and we utilize these things. We think out of the box and we go out of our way. At the same time, if we start to claim openly to everyone that this many lorries went in today, there are more haters on social media and more anti-Palestine people on social media. They will make life very difficult for us and even for Israel to allow even little bit aid that is going in. One more thing, many organizations, they say that we are purchasing aid inside Gaza. Right? You must have heard this. Many organizations say we are buying stuff from inside Gaza, while Al-Khair Foundation is purchasing from outside and sending aid in. which means that whatever stock is going is 100% our own stock, purchased on behalf of our donors or partner organizations. Now, if those people who claim that they're buying from inside Gaza, how they buying it? Are there supermarkets there? Are there wholesalers there? How they buying it? I'm sitting in masjid and I'm very fearful to say this. Majority of the organizations, they are purchasing stolen goods, stolen items. Right? So, majority of the stuff that is there inside is aid items. And there are people who send me videos of their aid supply that they have purchased inside Gaza, but it has United Nations logo, or WFP logo, or UNHCR logo, or it has basically this organization, Organization for Migration, I forgot the exact name, IOM, right? So when somebody claims something that they are supplying and they're buying from Gaza, you need to look at their every clip of their stuff. And you will need to question, where are you buying from? Who is the supplier? Other thing is that any organization that is being able to send aid in, they receive full document for each and every lorry. They have transportation receipt. They make payment to the supplier of the content. They make payment to the lorry or shipping or transportation company. So for all those things, we have the records. We have bank transfers for every single lorry. Once a lorry enters, then you receive confirmation of that. So documentation is very important. And not many organizations are able to give you those documentations. Alhamdulillah, there are many organizations who are doing fantastic work, amazing work. But there are some that are giving bad name to this industry and this culture. So inshallah, aid is still going in, although, for example, Gaza, before 7th of October, about 700 to 800 lorries were going in inside Gaza every day, before 7th of October. Meaning, when everything was fine, all the buildings and everything was there, all the supermarkets were full of stuff, still people needed 500, 600, 700, 800 lorries every day to keep Gaza running. Now, some days only 10 lorries going in, 15 or 35 or 50 at most. Normally in 1 week, on average, not even 100 lorries going in 1 week. So the supply is very less, very, very less. Okay, inshallah. Anybody else? Ji.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just wanted to find out about the ground reality in terms of the distribution. How is it actually distributed on the ground? What you have just briefed us very nicely is how it's all channeled and it goes into Gaza. But on the ground, what kind of modalities do you have for distribution?
That's a very good question.
That's one question. Second question is, is Al-Khair dealing only in foodstuff or clothing, medical supplies, educational supplies, all those other needs, for society?
Okay, Jazakallah. So there are two scenarios when your lorry enters into Gaza. Either it will be in control of your team member or public will jump on it, right? So you must have seen that people jump on the lorries and they take their stuff. I wouldn't call that looting. And everybody who is here from today, you need to stop using the word looting when it comes to Gaza. The situation over there is very, very, very dire. Very tough situation. People dying for one sip of water. In that case, if they grab something, you cannot call it looting. Right? In fact, we are looting them by holding the charity we were supposed to give them, by holding our timely zakat and sadaqah. We are looting them. They are not looting us. So number one is not looting, and it happens, and majority of this happens during daytime. So what strategy we apply as much as possible, obviously everything is not in our control, but we prefer our aid to enter into Gaza after midnight, around or after midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., between midnight and Fajr. Majority of the people are off the streets at that time. It enters Gaza, there is dark, there is no electricity. Not everybody has mobile phones with lights and this and that. So there is very less chances for the stuff to be taken away. Then we have warehouses dotted around in different parts of Gaza. We have huge team, largest team members by any organization in Gaza is by Al-Khair Foundation. We have huge team. So it arrives in the warehouses and then is sorted. If it is medical, then it goes here. If it is construction, it goes there. If it is shelter there, baby items there. So in different sections it goes. And then how we distribute. We have two priorities, right? Two priorities. Number one, hospitals. The hospitals that are still functioning, and there are hospitals still functioning. By the way, Rantisi Hospital, if you search Rantisi Hospital in Gaza, that was renovated and restarted during the war after it was completely destroyed. That re-establishment of Rantisi Hospital was by Al-Khair team. Now we are renovating Wafa Hospital. Right? Well, I have to be very careful what I claim because I don't. In Wafa Hospital, we lost 9 of our top senior leadership in 1 second. Our top senior leadership inside Gaza, all the head of each area, it was their mistake because we told them not to be together at any point. My instruction from my side, they shouldn't be in one area at once. Not basically all of them, but even 2, 3 of them shouldn't be in one area, not in one building or one block, no, in one area, they shouldn't be. But for sake of Wafa Hospital, for some reason, I don't know why, they got all together. And the meeting started, and one person went downstairs to get the water for everybody. Only he survived. Rest of the team member, they were blown up in a sense that if they were, let's say, 80 kg, we found only 20, 30 kg of their body parts. You know, very difficult situation, very tough situation for us. This was in Wafa Hospital. And at many occasions, I've told my team, close the project. Just stay at home. Because you are delivering aid, you are bigger target. They are being attacked because they are delivering aid. Right? So many times I've told them that stop working. But people of Gaza, they're saying that we're going to die anyway. So we might as well die while serving others and so on. It's their own choice, subhanallah. So anyway, we have 2 priorities, I was saying. Number one, hospital. So we supply fuel, diesel, oxygen material, medical items, and even cooked meal or cooking items to hospitals. That is our number one priority. And especially surgeons, doctors, and nurses, because they're working 24/7. They don't have time to join the queue outside. So that's our number one priority. Our second priority is more than 11,000 families that are being accommodated in Al-Khair, our own shelter camps. These are the shelter camps established on behalf of Al-Khair individual donors or our partner organizations. Right? 11,000 families. So even if we are receiving 50 lorries every day, still we have 11,000 families to look after. So that's our second priority. And then after that, wherever is possible, at whatever opportunity, we distribute, mashallah. For the distribution, we do show some footage. We are showing footage of the distribution. But for the medical project, we are not showing any footage. Because we are running some of the medical projects in shelter tents or in a small shop or basement or like that. We're not showing any footage for that because we don't want it to be attacked. Right? So, and we're working, mashallah, across the board. We have established tent masjid made of tents bigger than this hall. Maybe I think 7, 8 masajids bigger than this hall, made of tent, with carpet, with sound system, everything, in about $10,000–15,000, one masjid has been established. So if we are renovating hospitals, we are doing construction, we are setting up solar panels every single day. We have solar panel repair and maintenance program. The buildings that been destroyed, whatever material we can get from that and reuse that, recycle that. We have a huge team working on that. Every single hour, almost every single hour of daytime, we are completing one project or another. In terms of installation, I'm talking about water project or medical project and like that. So that shows we are not only doing food packs or like that, but we are in huge variety, mashallah. Anybody else? I know there's one brother there. There are two. There's one behind you first.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
You've mentioned that the number of trucks that are being allowed in are limited. Sometimes 10, sometimes up to 35. So when it comes to the Muslims' donations, because they are not allowing enough trucks to come in, is there surplus of donation, or is there any lacking in donation that is required to assist more? Just asking on behalf of, like, if they are not allowing them in, is many goods staying outside, and is there more need for donations?
Right. Idhar ko aao thoda sa. Because I came in the flights, so my ear was completely shut. So right now I'm like summum bukmonomion. Right. Yeah, that's a very good question. That the aid is not going in as it should be inside Gaza, and there are hundreds of thousands of organizations doing fundraising around the world. People are very generous. The level of generosity is huge, right? Now it's up to the organizations and individuals to decide if they are unable to deliver, then they should carry on fundraising or not. Right? My visit here is not to fundraise, and this lecture is to answer any questions and update about Al-Khair. And I don't recall since last 2 years or ever I've given such a long lecture, almost 1 hour, on the work of Al-Khair. because I consider that speaking about own project in a masjid is not good. It's basically, in masjid we should talk more about knowledge and like that. So generally I don't speak this long in masjid. Yes, in hall or events I would. So first time I'm speaking in so detail. So as I said that at the time of Udhiyya, Qurbani, at least, if nothing, at least $50–60 million worth of aid that organizations wanted to give us, we rejected that. Even now, the bigger organizations that are funding us, we having to slot them in. That okay, we will slot you 1 day a week or 1 day a month and like that. So still people fundraising and doing whatever they can, they need to see and they need to find a way and mechanism to send that aid in. If I'm telling you that maximum 50 lorries, and I don't recall 50 lorries going into Gaza in any single day since Ramadan up to now. I'm not talking about from 7th of October. Before Ramadan, in some of the days, 600–700 lorries went in some days. But since Ramadan up to now, not even 50 lorries gone inside Gaza. Generally is only 5, 10, 15 lorries or less than 50 lorries. Still so much fundraising happening around the world. Do raise questions. So your question and your basically objection is valid. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to fulfill the amana, fulfill the trust, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khair. Next question. All right.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah, Ustad, you've mentioned about there is a group of individuals and part of the community of the Israelis that are offering their help, and they are against this war. Wallahi, it's very new to me, and I think to most of us. The picture that we have out here is that Israel, and maybe the whole of Israel, is an enemy to Islam and also to the people of Gaza. And it's good if they are a group of that kind of people, sincerely speaking, and they are against this one, because it will be very justful for us to be good to them, because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, that He has not forbidden us from those who do not expel us from our homes and do good to us. So Allah has told us to be good to them. I think it will be very unfair to generalize them. Maybe in our du'as when we cast them and all that, if there is that kind of group of people, maybe who are assisting in these projects that we have to help the people of Gaza, apart from them, are there other non-Muslim organizations who partner with the EU, with the Al-Khair Foundation, in assisting the people of Gaza and Palestine in general? And secondly, is Al-Khair Foundation part of the global Sumud flotilla that is awaited by everybody? Naam, jazakallah khair.
Right, okay. As for your last question, I will not answer, right? Because we are based in UK, so you can imagine whatever, inshallah. Yeah. Global Sumud Flotilla started with the, hardly anyone knows how it started. It is started by Brother Nadir. One brother, his name is Nadir. He is the one who started the effort. Brother Nadir is from Far East country. I will not mention the name of the country exactly, but from Far East country. His parents wanted him to study engineer or masters and this and that. His parents told him that we want you to go to university, ideally in UK, Europe, for advanced study. Guess where he went? Around 2005, 2010. He took admission in Islamic University of Gaza. From his country, he went to Gaza. He studied in Islamic University of Gaza. People go to Oxford and Cambridge, but this guy, he chose Gaza. He remained there, and then he got married there. When he finished, then he came out of Gaza with his family, settled back in his country, and he is the brainchild of Samud Fatila. Right? So that tells you how much I know about it. Yeah. Personally, I'm personally not part of it. Al-Khair Foundation as an organization is not part of it. And one of the reasons is I couldn't see how Israel will allow these boats to reach Gaza. I couldn't see. Right? But I appreciate and admire the efforts of everyone, because different people have to do different activity. You will find results somewhere and disappointment somewhere. What was your earlier question before that? Yes, there are. The biggest one I can tell you, you know, Red Cross and Red Crescent, right? If it is non-Muslim country, is known as Red Cross. If it is Muslim country, then is known as Red Crescent. In Islamic countries, it is Hilalul Ahmar. And in non-Muslim countries, it is Red Cross. Turkish Red Crescent and Egyptian Red Crescent and few other countries' Red Crescent working with us, that's fine. Some of the countries' Red Cross working with us to deliver in Gaza, that's fine also. That the biggest feather in our head is the international head office of Red Cross. They have signed agreement with Al-Khair Foundation. I'm talking about around maybe 14, 15 months ago. So we have active MOU, not only MOU, first is MOU, after that is agreement. So we have active agreement with International Federation Red Cross head office. And few months ago, I was sitting with the president in the dinner, with the, you can call it chairman or president of entire world's Red Cross and Red Crescent societies, with their head, mashallah. She invited me to Geneva sometime. I'll be going there maybe in November. And then there are many, even churches, organizations, even synagogues, they're working with us. With regard to, you mentioned that people supporting from Israel, it is shocking, very shocking. And even I didn't believe, but when my team showed me the transaction, and when I saw transactions myself, because in transaction it shows the country where it's coming from Israel, even through our website, when donation comes, this is coming from Israel or from India or from Myanmar, right? It's amazing. You see, we have very bad picture of certain groups, and I can understand why. But in Judaism, in Jewish, there are two types of people. One who accept Israel and others who reject Israel. So in New York, in London, there is huge Jewish population, they will never go to Israel. Why? Because they do not agree with Israel. Jewish. Right? And they stand with us. They stand in solidarity with us. And it's not a small number, it's huge number. Second one is that accept Israel and they go and settle in Israel. Now when you are settled in Israel, then you are different type of person, right? Because then you have to accept and be part of Zionist ideology. Israel is not issue of Muslims and Judaism or Jewish. It is Zionism versus non-Zionism, right? So it is Zionist issue. So those who go and settle in Israel One is basically those who settled in pre-1967 borders, right? I'm not accepting it, but I'm saying that, okay, United Nations declared at that time that this is the boundary of Israel. But there are many who are settlers. They're settling themselves in other areas. So for them to be out of Zionist ideology or out of settling colony ideology is very difficult. But after all, you are a human being. And when you see children dying inside Gaza at the hands of your own army, your own forces, your own prime minister doing something like this to the innocent people on mass level, that we do not have any example in the world. Can you find any example anywhere in the world that 65 kilometer area is surrounded by world's most powerful army and bombarded every single day for 2 years? There's no example of this, right? So therefore, many people, their humanity will wake up. And every single day, there are demonstrations inside Israel. You touched upon Sumud Flotilla. There are people inside Israel who wants to be part of Sumud Flotilla. They want to be. There are some who are trying to cross the border on foot in order to go and help. So there are good people everywhere. And the biggest support from Jewish community I received was as a result of my last year speech in Nairobi, in Kenya, in same conference that I attended this year. In last year, although it was East Africa Humanitarian Summit, the conference was about East Africa. But my entire speech last year, out of 30 minutes, 25 minutes I spoke about Gaza. And after that, this Jewish organization, who is also based in Israel, they came and they hugged me. And they said, "You are truly humanitarian." And they said that anything we can do to make your work and your supply going into Gaza, anything we can assist, it will be great. And then they assisted us. I just touched earlier that our aid is going from Israel into Gaza. Not many of you may have picked up that, right? It's going from West Bank, it's going from Israel. So we are not only relying on Jordan or Egypt. No, we have, mashallah, different channels, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair. We're getting very close to Adhan. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Finish? Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Just one last statement. For this re-establishment of Gaza, to reconstruct Gaza, President Trump, working with the former Prime Minister of UK, Tony Blair. So someone asked why Tony Blair is involved in this. My answer is because Shaitan is too busy, he's not available, that's why Tony Blair is being involved in it. Yes. Jazakumullah khair.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة.